Joy, I followed you on Twitter, live tweeting the hearing today. I saw the precious few minutes you got at the end of your 7 p.m. hour because of the way the testimony went today, and I thought Joy has a lot more to say. And so, Joy, we begin with you and the open mic. Go ahead.
You are so merciful, Lawrence. You could feel my frustration, I think, through my Twitter feed. You know, I watched this all day, as you did. And let me just start with just what we know from having watched this today very quickly. So we know that these senators don't know the difference between what judges do and what they're supposed to do, right? They kept questioning Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson about her ideas on the way legislation should be formed in terms of sentencing guidelines. That's their job. I haven't seen Tom Cotton's legislation or any of their legislation to try to change said sentencing guidelines, as you just showed. We know that they don't care about protecting women and girls. We know that they don't care about protecting them from things like rape or child pornography because they fully support one justice who caused the phrase long dong silver to be entered into the congressional record, Clarence Thomas. And they fully support Justice Kavanaugh, who was credibly accused of sexual violence against a teenager in high school. So we had a lot of Josh Hawley fulminating about protecting children from pornography, et cetera, and Tom Cotton going on about protecting women from rape, et cetera. They supported fully Justice Kavanaugh and were outraged that anyone would ask him about these 3 credible accusations of sexually violating teenagers and college students. OK, so we know they don't really care about that. They also fully support Donald Trump, who has 26 accusers, going all the way from having leered at teenage girls at beauty pageants he was in charge of to rape in the case of E. Jean Carroll, all the way up to 26 accused. So we know they don't care about any of that. We also know they don't care about the rule of law because they refuse to convict Donald Trump of fomenting an insurrection, which Josh Hawley raised his fist to support in real time. So we know they don't care about any of that. Rule of law, the law, none of it. What they care about is performing. Because their real job, much like Margie Green, is not to legislate, it is to perform for the Fox News audience, to perform for far-right voters who are terrified that their children will learn that slavery was bad and that slaves weren't happy and singing in the fields. They're terrified, and so they want to perform for that audience so that they'll vote. And so what I saw today was the performance of QAnon ideology, trying to tie this woman who has perfect integrity that Lindsey Graham has voted for twice to be on the federal bench, to try to tie her to child pornography because they know that's going to activate QAnon voters in November. It was pure performative, it was repulsive, and it was purely thuggish, in my view.
And Senator McCaskill, through it all, we still saw the most qualified Supreme Court nominee who's ever appeared in a televised confirmation hearing.
First of all, I hate to interrupt Joy, because I know she's got a lot more to say about this. Let me start with a very important premise here. This woman that was in front of the Judiciary Committee was brilliant, absolutely brilliant on the law, in her demeanor. This was a woman wearing a velvet glove with a steel spine. She didn't let them rattle her. She showed how she will be able to get along with others, which is important in the close confines of 9 justices on the Supreme Court, to try to win people over to your perspective on cases that could go either way. We hope we will get back to those cases someday. So I think we got to give a lot of credit to her. Secondly, this was a whack-a-mole game of hypocrisy. Every time I thought the Republicans had reached a new level of hypocrisy, whoops, up it came again. Whether it was them lamenting dark money, give me a break. The only reason we have dark money is because they love it. They won't clean it up. We've given them a million opportunities to clean it up. They won't vote for it. They love dark money. They are the princes of dark money. And the hypocrisy about downward sentencing from the guidelines. They have so many judges they've supported and that sit on the bench, appointed by Republicans, confirmed by them, that have had downward sentences from the guidelines. If any of these guys had ever been in a courtroom for a sentencing, they would know this is not that unusual. And so they cherry picked a couple of cases to try to make America believe that this mother, this amazing woman, somehow likes pedophiles and child pornographers. Nobody believes that except that little rigid QAnon crowd that they're all playing to, that 25% of America that still think the guy at Mar-a-Lago tells the truth.